Hey, welcome. Today we'll check the Wooting 80HE gaming keyboard, probably the most anticipated keyboard the last years. After the big success of the Wooting 60HE, which introduced the Hall effect magnetic switches in the gaming space, a lot of gamers ask for a TKL format, including myself. I personally prefer the TKL format for several reasons. The main one is the easier use of the F keys, which I need in some games, but also for other tasks using the arrow keys and other keys is definitely more convenient with the TKL format. The bigger size doesn't disturb me, and now it's here with some improvement compared to the Wooting 60HE. But at the end, is it worth to spend at least $200 or €220 for the entry-level 80HE? And was the long wait worth it? Let's check this out and take a closer look at this Wooting 80HE. So let's check what we get in the box. So we have here the keyboard. I choose the pre-built PCI Black Ghost case. I want to see how it looks with RGB. It's quite a nice looking board. Also in the box you will find the 2-in-1 switch and keycaps puller, 3 extra Leica V260 and 1 Leica V245 switches. An USB Type-C to Type-C cable with an adapter to USB Type-A. The cable feels solid, very stiff, not so flexible, but it should also enable the 8000 Hz polling rates, so I will recommend using this cable. You also receive additional feed to adjust your desired angle and height. Out of the box it has a 2.5 degrees feed. In the box you will find additional 6 degrees feeds and 10 degrees feeds. You also get additional M5 screws if you lost some of them during changing the case, for example. Also additional keycaps if you prefer to have this one on the keyboard instead, and finally a nice postcard. I also purchased the wrist rest design for this Wooting 80HE. It's a nice feeling silicone wrist rest, not too smooth, not too hard, feels good to rely your hands on it. Regarding the design of the 80HE keyboard, nothing very mind-blowing. It looks like a normal keyboard. It doesn't have this yellow stripe we know from the 60HE. It will also take too much space on the desk with it, so it's okay for me. Also no big branding on the board, you'll find a small logo here and on the keycaps. The USB connection is here on the left side. You have a small RGB LED bar here, which we will check later. So a clean and simple looking keyboard, almost too minimalistic, but this transparent case gives a bit of gaming vibe. The pre-built Wooting 80HE comes with the Leica V260 switches. It has a size of 346 by 142 mm with a weight of around 795 grams with this plastic case. With the zinc alloy case, the weight should go up to 2160 grams. The case is around 90 mm high at the front. It comes with the same features as the 60HE, so you will have rapid trigger again, adjustable actuation and the new rapid snappy tappy function. The biggest difference with the 60HE is the polling rates. The 80HE keyboards offers now 8000 Hz stable polling rates and so claim a response time of only 0.125 milliseconds. One of the biggest advantages of having a Wooting keyboard is the Wootility web-based software. No need to install some heavy software we know like Razer Synapse or SteelSeries GG. Nevertheless, if you really want to install the Wootility app on your PC, there is a version 4 available, but work for now only with the Wooting 60HE. They should probably release in the near future a version 5 which includes the Wooting 80HE. In the Wootility version 5 web-based software, you have the exact same settings available to personalize as you wish your keyboard. You have the quick settings here, or if you want to adjust more in detail the settings, you have the actuation settings here. You can adjust for each key or set the same for all keys. Here the rapid trigger option to adjust the activation and deactivation key sensitivity. Here you can set the RGB and here the new light bar. I set it so that it visualizes how deep I press the keys. It's a cool fun feature. Here you can remap the keys from the main layer but also from the function layer and even add a new layer. In the advanced settings, you can set the famous new features and funny name Rappy Snappy and Snappy Tappy, and at the end you have the gamepad mode where you can set your keyboard like a controller, but I haven't tried this one yet. As mentioned before, the Wooting 80HE comes with the Leica V260 out of the box if you choose the pre-built keyboard. I also have the Leica V245, so with a lower actuation force. Let's do now a quick sound and quality check and also compare the 80HE with the 60HE and the Leica V1 switches. The new 80HE has definitely a more talk sound. The sound is quieter and deeper. The noise absorption is better with less resonance compared to the 60HE. I guess the film tape mode under the PCB and the polycarbonate switch plate was a great change. Also, the sound difference between the Leica V1 and V2 is noticeable. The V1 has a louder metallic sound. The Leica V1 has also more side play. It wobbles more. The V2 has been improved a bit, but still has some side play. Regarding the difference between the Leica V245 and 60, they both sound the same. It's only the force you need to activate the switches which makes the difference. The V245 is for my taste a bit too light. I prefer the V260. Regarding the stabilizer, they feel solid, good built on the PCB, better than the 60HE. Only the spacebar needs a bit of tuning. It still feels weak, wobbling, and sound is not optimized. Also, the plastic case flexes a bit here, but has no creaking sound. This feels cheap, but to be honest, the PCR case is cheap, only $20 and now even on sale for $10. So okay for the price. A $100 upgrade for the zinc alloy case will sure improve that, but is it worth to spend an extra $100? I don't know. As the PCB is Wooting own design, there isn't a third-party case you can swap, so maybe we will see new case alternative from Wooting for the 80HE in the future, or from maybe other brands. Here you can make some business with this big pre-order fundraise the Wooting 80HE reach. I think the demand for a new case might be very high. When it comes to my experience in gaming, for a keyboard what is the most important after all is the ergonomic and how comfortable it feels. Here I really like the different fits angle. I like the 6-degree fits combined with the wrist rest. I have a very comfortable and natural position of my hand, wrist and arm. I can play like this for a very long time uninterrupted. Then comes the feeling of the keycaps and switches. The double shot PBT keycaps with backlight has a great surface. It's slightly textured so that your fingers don't slide on the keycaps. Also for gaming, I personally prefer the Leica V260 switches over the 45. The 45 switches are a bit too light to activate. The sound of the Leica V2 is great, more silent than the V1, a nice improvement. And finally, sure, the Roll effect features to adjust the activation and disactivation of the switches is great, especially in faster FPS games where you need to swipe fast to make it harder for your opponent to shoot on you. Also, the snappy tappy features definitely gives an advantage in some games. So with all that, this is the gaming keyboard by excellence. So finally, Wooting with this 80HE keyboard not only brings a bigger size format but also integrates some nice improvement, especially where the 60HE was a bit weak, like the typing sound and feeling of the switches, with some optimization and the sound deepening of the 80HE, and also the new Leica V2 switches, this 80HE sound and feel more premium. There are still some improvement needed, like the spacebar sound and feeling, and also the PCR case is not the most premium, but for $20 or even on sale now for $10 or euros for the case, we cannot be so demanding. I might try the zinc alloy case to see if it's worth the pricey upgrade, but for now I'm definitely satisfied with this one and my whole performance and experience in gaming is fulfilled. With an entry price of around $200 or 220 euros for the pre-built, it's on par with a bigger brands competitor like Razer, SteelSeries and even now Asus and Logitech. It's sometimes even cheaper if you stay with a plastic case. Wooting is in my opinion still ahead what all FX gaming keyboards offers, especially with a web-based software. Now I'm curious to see what is coming next from them. Maybe an updated 60HE with 8000Hz polling rates, or wireless version with 8000Hz polling rates, or maybe a keyboard with an OLED screen and also a new Leica V3 switches or Gateron Jade V2. I can't wait what is coming next from Wooting. So that is for today's video about the Wooting 80HE gaming keyboard. I hope you enjoyed this review. If so, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.